Welcome everybody to the Yavneh Media Arts Studio. I'm joined here with some fanatic footy fans here at Yavneh. I'm Mr. D. I'm here with Jack Boymal, Izak Sztrochlic and Mr. G. Goldstein. We're here to talk about the upcoming Round 1 AFL season of 2021. Let's do this, shall we? Jack, how are you going?
I'm good. How are you, Daskalou?
Fantastic. It's Mr. D in
Mr.
the podcast. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Sztrochlic, how are you?
Dask, mate. Honestly, it's a pleasure being
Again,
here.
it's Mr. D. Mr. G, how are you doing?
I'm great, Mr. D.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you used to be a student here, but you can call me...
Well, we didn't call you Mr. D.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're here to discuss... Well, what are we here to discuss? Round 1, the AFL. It's going to be huge. After what happened last year, it's... happy to be. It's going to be great, don't you think?
100%, 100%.
Very excited.
Definitely will be really good. I mean, it's going to be interesting, I reckon, how this year will pan out considering the trade period. Some very, very interesting trades that we'll probably get a little bit into later in the podcast.
We will.
As I said, I think it's our first round. We'll definitely create something that we can tell how the rest of the season will pan out.
Exactly.
So
Well, look, we don't have all day. We're not a 3AW. We're not a Triple M. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. Let's get into it, shall we? Round 1. The first game, Tigers versus Blues. I'm going to throw it out there to Mr. G here for this one. Mr. G, I've got to ask you a question. Can the Blues pull off a miracle and win, and why? Tell me.
I really hope not, because I don't know if any of us will be at school tomorrow if they do. But if there ever is a time to beat Richmond, it will be now. They start slowly, less of a preseason than usual. Carlton seem to be on the hype train. If they're going to win, this is the game they're going to finally beat Richmond without proper preparation for the Tigers.
Yep.
Bit of a sketchy off season, so I'm hoping they're still going to overcome Carlton, and I would still tip Richmond to win that game. But if ever Carlton are going to pull off that upset, it will be this year.
That is pretty big. Zach, that's a big tip there. So you're going for Carlton? What do you reckon?
I still think Richmond.
Yeah, those Tigers. Yep, can't stop. Dusty. All right, Strockers, what do you reckon, champ?
Yeah, Dask, it's Mr. D. Right. So to be honest, I got tipped Tigers by 10. I mean, there was as Mr.
10
G,
points or 10 goals?
10 points, 10 points.
Okay.
I know Mr. G briefly mentioned that Richmond did have a bit of a sketchy off-season, but I reckon they can definitely still obviously I'll disregard it. Surely they'll do well in round 1. But I mean, boy, if the Blues do pull off a win here, it would be such a relief for a lot of our Carlton supporters.
Okay. Jack?
I reckon it's going to be a cracking game. I think Carlton are going to play a lot better than most people expect. But Richmond, the last game of AFL they played, they won the flag. And they're just too classy. The Blues don't have Williams, but the Tigers don't have Hooley. So I think Carlton will play some good footy, but I still think Richmond will get the job done by 19 points.
That's huge. That's huge. Well, you know what? If Richmond don't, well, I think Richmond will win this, because if they don't, it'll be quite hilarious. But I'll be cheering if they. Look, I actually don't know who I dislike more, Richmond or Carlton. But if Richmond don't win, it's a big start of their season. Yeah, but I'd love to see them lose. But they've won the premiership last year. Let's talk about it. Richmond are going to win for me. That's it for that. The Pies versus the Dogs. Now, this is where the AFL matters, when it's a Pies match, of course, yeah? Yep. So, Jack, got a question for you.
Yep.
Will side bottom be a huge loss for the Pies?
Well, Mr. D, usually I'd say no, that, it's just one player. He doesn't carry the team. But, however, we're going up against a midfield with Bontempelli, McRae, Dunkley and Treloar. So,
Can you just repeat that last one? Who's playing for Dogs?
that would be Adam Treloar.
But you're paying him to play for them.
That'd be
God.
Snap, and we are getting laughed at here by a Melbourne supporter. Do you understand that? I'll give him some applause. Give him some applause. Yep.
Thank you for that one, Mr. G. But, to take down that midfield, I think we need all our players. And, still will be a big out. But Bucks has said that Jordan De Goey will be spending some time in the midfield. So that should be interesting.
De Goey. When I see him play, it's magical.
It is early, yeah, 100%.
It's magical. Love De Goey. Love everyone at Collingwood. Look, I'm not going to talk about Treloar. Let's talk about another question for Zach. How do you think Trelaw will go?
Honestly, I think Trelaw will go very well. I mean, definitely has superior assistance in the midfield, as Jack mentioned, some of their elite midfielders.
Those dogs.
Yeah, 100%.
The dogs are
100%.
barking. The dogs are barking.
Honestly, some of the trades that the Pies made on this off-season, absolutely atrocious.
Disgusting.
Oh, my God. I just look at Jaden Stevenson, I think it was Boston Volagi.
It was kind of a circus, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, were they playing this kind of theme when they did those trades or what?
Yeah,
Anyway.
honestly, I just look at the trades now. I mean, North received Jaden Stevenson, Boston Volagi in a second-round pick, and only Collingwood received was pick number 26, another second-round pick and a fourth-round pick. So definitely not in our favours. Yeah, definitely atrocious.
I don't want to talk about it.
Atrocious by the Pies.
All right, moving on. We'll talk about another huge game. This is one of the biggest games ever. I mean, seriously, it's just like you go watch it, it'll be like this. We're talking about your mob there, Mr. G. Melbourne Freo. Huge game for how many? Are they going skiing yet? The Melbourne fans? No, it's not winter, so yeah.
Well, it's almost winter, so
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So yeah, Melbourne Freo.
the cheese boards will be out.
Now, look, a serious question: is Melbourne a chance for the wooden spoon this year, or at least top 10?
I'm not sure about the spoon. We've got Adelaide, North Melbourne, Collingwood, a lot of teams contending for that one. That one thing. I think, but I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't see us making finals, and I don't see our coach lasting the season either.
Wow. You know what? I'm
Very,
gonna give
very
you
big
applause
call.
for that. Well done. Give him a round of applause. At least he's understanding that. Yeah, he's understanding Melbourne. You know, look, I don't mind Melbourne either way because I'm an MCC member and they treat me well. So yeah, thank you MCC for everything. Moving on from that, but yeah.
That's before you go any further, I just want to mention, as you fellas know, that I do work at Coles Chatston, and I actually did serve Max Gorn and Christian Petrarch in the last couple months. So
Fantastic.
something very interesting to tell Mr. G. So yeah, don't be too jealous of that one.
Now, Mr. G, look, in all seriousness though, with Melbourne Freo, what's your tip and why?
I think Freo, just because their youth looks unbelievable right now. Melbourne's forward line completely decimated. You bring in Ben Brown, and then he can't even play till round 7 or 8. It's disastrous.
Wow.
Weirman goes down as well.
Yeah.
We're back to where we started last year with no forward line. So I just think they'll be too young for us. Our midfielders all didn't get any preseason action into their legs either. So I think Freo will be fresh. I don't think it'll necessarily be a write-off of a season for Melbourne, but I don't see us beating the youth of Fremantle right now.
Speaking about
Wow.
even-
Okay. I was actually thinking of picking Melbourne.
Wow, and Mr. G, I got to say, even if you win, whether you win or lose, I think Christian Petrarca will be racking up 40-plus disposals. He's looking incredible, so I'm very
So
excited
a
to
good
watch
dream
him.
team pick up there, you reckon?
100%.
After
I just-
last season, I'd love to see him in Brownlow contention again. He
Definitely.
was awesome.
Gotcha.
I reckon 100% definitely a huge match, and even just a special mention Nat 5. I reckon he will definitely have a very good season this
All
year.
right.
Very
So
exciting.
Strockers, who are you choosing?
For that one, I'm actually going Freo by about 10 points. So
Wow.
I reckon.
Jack?
I've actually put Melbourne by 24 points. I just think on their home deck they're going to be a bit too strong for the young Dockers.
I think I'm going with Melbourne too. Even though they are the Demons, I think they're very heavenly in the way they play on the MCG. So I think they could get the job done. I'm just finding excuses to press these buttons. Definitely going to go with Melbourne on that because I just think there's a lot to lose for them. I mean, it's round 1. They've got to win. But Fife is dangerous. Next game we're looking at is Crows versus Cats. Now, let me just say this is a huge upset coming. You ready for this? Get ready for it. I'm gonna say it. The Crows are going. Wait, hang on, Strockers. The Crows are going to lose by less than 10 goals. That is what I'm saying. So yeah,
Okay,
everyone thought
fine.
over 10 goals, but
Okay,
no.
fine. Okay,
The Crows, yeah, huge upset.
I mean, 71 points lost against Port in the Amy Community Series.
Yep.
Definitely not expecting much
So-
of them this year.
Mr. G, who's your tip for Crows Cats?
I think Cats are almost the tip for the premiership, just behind Richmond. So if they're not beating Crows, then they're in a lot of trouble.
It'll be great if they made the grand final again and did a bit of a choke like they did last year. Oh, yeah, like we won't talk about 2018. We'll keep that till later. But yeah, moving on from that. So, Cats for you, Zach,
Definitely has to be Cats. I'd say about at least 6 goals, to be honest. So.
Jack.
I cannot see any team, for that matter, stopping Tom Hawkins and Jeremy Cameron in one forward line. And the team that's going to stop them definitely will not be my prediction for the Wooden Spoon Adelaide Crows. So I've got the Cats by 45 points.
That is a big call. That is a big call. But gotcha. Next, let's move on, shall we? Oh, this one. This is going to be huge. Bombers and Hawks. Line in the sand game. I remember back in the day. But yeah, Bombers, Hawks. We've got a lot of Bombers and Hawks fans in the school. Huge game, Mr. G. Quick question though. Would you take Clarko to the D's?
Who would say no to that?
I don't know.
Number one.
Well, Collingwood supporters, we want Buckley in there, so that's number one. Yeah.
Number one, we need a new coach. Number two, he's an absolute superstar, and he played for us. So the stars should have aligned, and we've never actually gone for him.
True.
Hawthorn are looking a lot more attractive now than they were in probably the last 18 months, so I can't see him leaving there at this stage.
Well, look, who's your tip for this then? Bombers, Hawks, it's a hard one to tip.
So 50. This is the 50-50 game of the round.
Is this the game of the round?
Yeah.
Well, let's drop that bomb. Game of the round.
Game of the round, Hawks by a point.
Ooh, huge.
Yeah, you
Zach?
know what? I think I might just have to go Essendon. I mean, I just feel like, I don't know, their support and everything like that. And I just think Hawthorn, like they were definitely good a couple of years back in their prime. They had all their experienced players and everything, but now they're just getting a couple of young guns in and everything. But I just still think that.
You think Essendon?
I think Essendon
I
might
think
win by a couple
Strockers, are you
points.
too chicken to pick Hawthorn or what?
No. Just I'm confident Essendon will win this. As much as it hurts me to say, as much as I dislike the Essendon supporters, I do think that they will win.
Essendon team, not the supporters, yeah.
Essendon team still. But
Jack?
Essendon supporters.
Look, I don't think Essendon have the forward line with no Danaher or Fantasia.
Orazio Fantasia.
come on, I mean, that-
Bang goes a football.
I mean, they barely played.
That was out of bounds.
Yeah.
That was out of
Yeah,
bounds.
but come on, Jack. They barely played last year anyway. I mean, it wouldn't.
That is true, but they were poor last year, and I think that will continue this year. It's going to hurt to see Tom Phillips in the brown and gold,
Yeah,
and I think the Hawks are going to take it away by 7 points.
gotcha. All right, there you go. There's those tips. Now, Swans versus Lions. I've got to check. Got a question for you, Jack.
Yep.
Is this the game to be playing Xbox instead of watching? Oh, that's the wrong button. Sorry. What do you think?
Look, if you want to watch a close game, then yeah, hop on your Xbox or your PlayStation. But I think it'll be a very classy game from Brisbane. I mean, Joe Danaher and Charlie Cameron. I reckon they're gonna play some very good. I reckon they'll kick 6 between them. And yeah, if you want a close game, hop on the Xbox. But if you want to watch a forward masterclass from the Lions, I reckon tune in.
Gotcha.
100% could not agree more with Jack.
Jack, what do you think?
I mean, the Brownlow medalist, Lockie Neal, playing up at the Gabba. They got a lot of other superstars in their team. Yeah, 100% hop up on the Xbox, get a bit of FIFA out, and yeah, try and
Gotcha.
play a couple
Mr.
matches.
G?
Yeah, never mind that forward line. That midfield of Brisbane is just so good to watch.
Yeah,
And young as well. Other than Neil, you're looking at McCluggage and Berry. They just fantastic.
yeah.
Brisbane
And
by a lot.
They should have really made that grand final. Would have been, I don't know, but it was the prelim, yeah? Brisbane Lions. Brisbane and Richmond were
I'm
in the
sure
prelim.
they'll choke
yeah.
again this year in finals. I'm sure of
Yeah.
it. But until then, they're a very good side.
Well, I think Geelong will probably end up making the grand final because, talking to Mr. Four, they play every game down at Cardinia Park and they still have a whinge when they, I mean, it's unfair. It's unfair. Every game should be at Vic Park in Abbotsford in Collingwood for Collingwood. Anyway, moving on from that. Next game we've got is Port versus North. Zach,
Yeah, I mean,
who's the big pickup for North this year, you reckon? And give me a tip.
You know what? I did touch on it a bit briefly before, but to be honest, in terms of pickups, I mean, they did get Jaden Stevenson, Bosvalagi, but yet again, like they did drop some superstars. Ben Brown to mention, as I said before, second and third in the Coleman race, 2017, 2018, literally given away for a bag of cookies. Nice, like basically given away for nothing. Even Majak Dor, definitely thought was a superstar, but obviously I didn't appreciate him much. But yeah, I think Port Adelaide, I mean, they had a great, as I was talking about it a little bit before in the Amy community match, they had a great game, so I definitely would tip them over North Melbourne.
And Strockers, on top of that, they also lost Sean Higgins, who's a
That is
very
true.
important part
yes,
of their
of course.
midfield. And big call for the round, I reckon Charlie Dixon will be kicking 5+ goals. I think Fantasia will kick a couple, and I've got the power by 21 points.
Gotcha. Mr. Goldstein?
I don't know who kicks the goals for North. Last year we saw Ben Brown go down all year and they kick like 2 goals a game.
Yeah.
It was almost farcical to watch at times. But You got to give credit to them. They finally realized, okay, we're not good. Our players are too old. Complete overhaul. So it might not work for them this year, but I think long term they've finally got some sort of strategy which we haven't seen. Port will still beat them this week though.
Yep. Well, that's that game ticked off. I'm going with Port 100%. They'll go further. They'll go far down the track in the year. Now, next one, Giants Saints. I'll start this one off. This one could be game of the round too, people, because I think between the Bombers, Hawks, and then this Giants Saints, you know what? It's all about, we've got a lot of St Kilda supporters here at Yavneh, and it's all about the Saints, this, Saints that. I remember 2010. Yeah, it was all about the Saints. And then, something with Revolt. I don't know. Yeah, something happened. Wah, wah. He got smothered right on the goal line. And then, they didn't kick a goal in the first
behind
quarter.
him like a librarian.
Go like a librarian. Let's just play it again. And it was just fantastic. Good work by Heath Shaw. We're living in the past, Collingwood supporters, but that's okay. That's okay. St Kilda, what are they going to do? If they want to make a statement, they got to beat the Giants. Let's go quickly. Tips. I'm picking the Giants for this. They're going to come out firing. Jack?
I've actually tipped the Saints. The Saints by 2 goals, by 12 points. They looked very good last season, and I reckon they'll continue. And also Giants, no Jeremy Cameron. I reckon that's going to hit them hard. A lot of pressure on Toby Green this year. And but I've got the Saints by a couple goals.
Gotcha. Zach?
Yeah, to be honest, unlike Jack, I've actually got the GWS. I mean, such a elite team, some good players. Taranto, Canelio, Haynes down back. I think they might just be able to take it away. Obviously, as I said, they're emerging, so I reckon they could probably take it away in probably a thriller, maybe under 6 points. So
Oh, huge. Mr. G?
Interesting.
You'd prefer GWS to win this game, so work's a lot more bearable on Monday morning.
Yeah. Snap.
It's the best part about when Giants win. You don't hear about it.
Exactly. It's just like this in the staff room. Hey, Giants won. Like, who cares? But when the Pies win, it's all systems go. Oh, sorry. Yes. Anyway, continue.
When the D's win, it's just all out party in there, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. With that, how many Melbourne supporters in the staff room?
Just me.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I think
That's certainly good. I mean, what was kind of surprising is a couple of years back when Melbourne did make finals. Can't remember how far they got into it. Prelim. Yeah, it was surprising how many Melbourne supporters came off the couch and came to
Off the
watch
couch
match.
or off the Mount Buller, maybe? Let's not forget, Strockers, that was 2018, and West
2018.
Coast had an easier game going into the grand final. We had to fight it out against Richmond. So, therefore, our 5-goal lead in the 2018 grand final, people, I'm sorry, it doesn't really count because West Coast were playing literally wedges hats in that prelim final.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought it up because once Strockers brought up the 2018 season, I was like, surely a Collingwood fan wouldn't want to relive that final series.
I
Dom
don't want to talk about...
Dom
Don't
Sheed.
say those words.
Oh, gosh.
Do not say those words.
Come on, Mr. G.
I
surely
wasn't
not.
going to bring up Dom Sheed,
Inappropriate.
but
Again. I can't do it.
Orders from Mr. Wonder was that there shouldn't be anything inappropriate coming up on
Yes,
this podcast.
there you
and
go.
You come along and you bring up that.
Let's just start fresh.
Mr. J, sorry.
We're not talking
Come on.
about Dom Sheed. Oh, my God. I just said his word again. I just said his name.
Stop it.
All right.
Mr.
Enough
J.
with the... I'm not saying Dom. Are we talking about anyone?
Wait.
Domino's Pizza.
Dom who?
Oh, I think that's a bit worse than Dom Sheed.
Luffa.
Dom who?
Shemesh.
Okay, moving on. West Coast and Suns. Jack?
All right, this is...
Tell me something interesting about this game because, again, I don't know what... I can't... Yeah.
This is going to surprise a lot of people, but I've actually tipped the Eagles by 5.
5 goals?
No, 5 points.
5 points?
5 points. The Suns have a habit of starting the year off well. Last year they started 3-1, and I think people are underestimating how amazing it's going to be to have Matt Rowell back because obviously people, they take the mickey out of him just because he's a rookie, but the reality is he was racking up 30 disposals and 3 goals a game. He looked incredible, and also I believe they picked up Atkins from the Crows, but. At the end of the day, the Eagles, they're just too good. Josh Kennedy, Jack Darling, Shannon Hearn, McGovern, Shuey, Nick Nat, they're just too classy.
These names just give me...
Bit of
Let's not talk about it. Who's your tip? You're picking West Coast.
So I'm saying West
West
Coast
Coast
by
by
5. But
Zach?
You know what? I'm actually going to go Gold Coast. Gold Coast by 2 goals. I mean,
Gold Coast.
I think
you...
I'm not kidding. I mean, it's definitely surely the underdogs come into this match, but I mean, I don't know. Now some young guns definitely can showcase a lot, and obviously with experience comes class, and with class comes wins. So would not be surprised if they take the dub away from this game against the West Coast.
I think, Mr. G, what do you think?
I think if Gold Coast get on top in the West, we know what happens next. The free kicks, the booing, Dom Sheed from the pocket.
All right, that's it. Call the police. Get him out of the room. I don't want to talk, and I don't want to bring up that name ever again in this room. Anyway, moving on.
I think he'll help the Eagles over the line.
Okay, we've gone through all the teams. We've been sitting here for 20 minutes. We've gone through all that. It's round one, but we've also got in a few weeks' time, we'll be discussing this as well, the AFLW final series coming up, and the Pies are looking hot. Freo's looking hot too. The Pies are looking like they're going to take it, so we're going to be re-looking at that in a few weeks with the AFLW as well, so I'm really interested in that to see what's going to happen there. But with this week, guys, look, thank you for the tips. Is there anything else you wanted to add in there, Mr. G?
Well, I was going to ask you, who do you think the Premiership and Brownlow
Oh, yeah, good idea. Well, look, Premiership, the Pies.
100%.
Pies taking it. Pies taking the Premiership. And the Brownlow medal. Pendles. That's it. Done. I don't want to say Richmond. I really don't want to see them again with Dusty and everything. But, yeah, how about we come back to this? We'll come back to it around 5. But for now, it's looking like Richmond or Port for me. I can't see Geelong. I don't know. I just think Richmond, Port, or Brisbane. Yeah, it's difficult.
So just pick all the good teams.
Pick all the good teams and bound to win. But probably, I reckon it'll be a Richmond-Port grand final, and Richmond will beat them. Brownlow medal definitely won't be a Collingwood player because the umpires just don't like us.
Big call, Daskal.
Yeah.
Very true.
So
I mean, what do you think about Lachie Neale going back-to-back Brownlows?
that could happen, yeah.
I reckon definitely on the cards.
So just quickly, Zach, who's your Premiership and Brownlow pick for now?
As I said before, I think Lachie Neale probably has to go Brownlow, and I think Port Adelaide probably Premiership.
Huge. Jack?
I good team.
I absolutely hate Carlson. We're going to have to say Paddy Cripps doing the Brownlow. He's a bit of
Yes.
a bully in the midfield, isn't he? And he can also go up and kick goals as much as I'd like to say Pendles. I think, as usual, he'll be in the top 5, but Cripps will take home the chockies. And the Premiership, I reckon it's going to be a grand final rematch, but this time Geelong will learn from their mistakes and get the job done. Geelong
Huge.
for
I thought you were
Premier.
going to say Collingwood West Coast and then we'll get our revenge.
Oh, that would be nice. A few more years, Daskal, a few more.
No. It's going to happen. We are going to get our revenge on what happened. That free kick, Maynard, all that happened there.
All a block.
That was a
That was a
block. And I'm telling you now, I'm not putting up with it. I am not putting up with it ever again. Mr. G, you gave us your tip? No.
I think if Nat Fyfe plays enough minutes in the midfield, Freo will win enough games for him to take out the Brownlow. But if he goes forward, then Lachie Neale's my tip. Premiership, I would hate Richmond to win it again, but I just think they're going to.
Yeah, that's it. Well, look, I think that's the end of the Round 1 AFL Yavneh Media Arts Studio podcast. It's a really small name for this, isn't it?
It is, don't worry about
like Collingwood's forward line, De Goey is going to smash it. Anyway, but I just want to say to everyone out there, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Yavneh YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to Jack, thank you to Zach, and thank you to Mr. G.
Thanks
for having us.
Hopefully, next week we can get one of these out. Again, it's a shorter week, but if not, then we'll see you after the break. We'll have a lot to talk about after the holidays and after Pesach, of course.
100%.
It's going to be huge. And
Go D's.
well, yeah, go D's, go
Up the
Pies.
Pies.
Up the Pies, yeah.
Got it, we got
And without further ado, that's it from us. We'll see you next time in the Yavneh Media Arts Studio podcast room. Again, what a small name that is. All right, thank you very much.